This land is the cradle of the Maya and Aztec, a realm protected by 35 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. This is the home of Pico de Orizaba, the highest volcano in North America, a sentinel of fire and ice that towers over a nation that gave the world chocolate, chili, and corn. From the dramatic high-flying theater of lucha libre to the complex soul of iconic dishes like tacos, tamales, and mole, Mexico is a masterclass in culinary and cultural depth. Centuries ago, when the conquistadors arrived, they tried to bury it. They built their cathedrals directly atop the Aztec ruins, a desperate attempt to silence a culture they could not comprehend. Yet, every few decades, the soil of the capital splits open, reminding us that the past is never truly dead. It is simply waiting. Welcome to a journey into a time capsule that the mainstream headlines have intentionally left sealed. Many see this land through a lens of filtered aesthetics or weary stereotypes of unrest, but they are missing the true essence of this vibrant, defiant country. They miss the resilience etched into the very stones of the Sierra Madre. In the Yucatan, the jungle hides over 6,000 emerald eyes, the cenotes. To the Maya, these were not natural swimming holes. They were the sentinels of Xibalba, the gateway to the underworld. They represent a unique approach to life and death that the West finds haunting. In Mexico, death is not the end of the conversation. It is a vibrant festival. The Day of the Dead is not an act of mourning, but a defiant communion with the deceased, suggesting that love is the only force capable of defying logic. Why has this version of Mexico been hidden from you? Why do we only hear of the tattered edges and never the brilliant core? In this video, we are peeling back the layers of a misunderstood nation to reveal destinations that feel like an endless adventure. If you are tired of the hollow, commercialized travelogues and long for a worldview that offers awe and healing, then stay with me. The heartbeat of the ancient world is echoing through the modern streets. You mine. And the ending of this story is something you are not prepared to see. As we leave behind the ghosts of buried empires beneath the modern pavement, we journey toward a place where the sun and stone have engaged in a silent dialogue for over a millennium. Chichén Itzá is not merely a destination. It is a manifestation of human intelligence that defies logic. When you stand before the Great Pyramid, or El Castillo, you are not just looking at a monument, you are looking at a time capsule, built by a civilization that viewed the universe as a grand, rhythmic machine. The Maya did not build for vanity. They built for synchronization. Every year during the equinox, the sun strikes the balustrade of the temple in such a way that a shadow serpent, Kukulkan, appears to crawl down the stone, joining the earth with the heavens. They calculated the solar year with a perfection that matches our own technology, carving 365 steps into the pyramid, one for every day we spend orbiting the sun. As a silent witness to the celestial dance, Chichén Itzá reminds us that the Maya were not primitive. They were observers of the infinite, masters of a paradox where stone becomes as fluid as time itself. But there is a darker, more visceral side to this geometry. Beyond the pyramid lies the Great Ball Court, the largest of its kind in Mesoamerica. Walking between these towering walls, the silence is heavy, almost suffocating. This was a theater of resilience and sacrifice. Perhaps the most profound mystery lies in what the earth has provided naturally. The Cenote Sagrado, a massive emerald green sinkhole, stands as the spiritual lungs of the city. This was the mouth of the underworld, a sacred void where gold, jade, and the remains of the faithful were offered to the rain gods. It is a place of overwhelming awe, a natural cathedral where the water has remained still while civilizations crumbled around it. Looking into those depths, you realize that the Maya's greatness wasn't just in their ability to build upward toward the stars, but in their courage to reach downward into the unknown. Chichén Itzá teaches us about the paradox of power. By the time the Spanish arrived, this massive metropolis was already a ruin. Silent witness to the fact that even the most sophisticated empires are subject to the laws of nature. It serves as a stark reminder of the smallness of man against the backdrop of eternity. The stones here do not just tell us who the Maya were, they ask us who we are, and whether we too will leave behind something that defies logic once we are gone. The true soul of this land is not only found in the celestial geometry of the jungle, but in the place where the limestone shelf finally breaks and surrenders to the turquoise abyss of the Caribbean. Moving from the heavy, stone-laden silence of the interior toward the coast, we encounter Tulum, a coastal sentinel that perfectly captures the resilience of a civilization that refused to vanish even as its classical golden age faded into memory. Unlike the hidden, landlocked giants of the past, Tulum was built to be seen. It was a defiant declaration of presence, a major port city that stood as a bridge between the deep, tangled, untouched wilderness of the mainland and the vast, unpredictable expanse of the ocean. Standing before El Castillo here feels different than it does at Chichén Itzá. Perched precariously on a 12-meter cliff, this structure served as a literal lighthouse for Maya merchant ships, guiding them through the treacherous breaks in the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef, the second largest coral reef system on our planet. But as I look out over these white sands and crystal waters, I am reminded that the beauty of the Riviera Maya is a paradox. Beneath this paradise lies a delicate, subterranean world that is the only reason human life was ever possible here. This region has no surface rivers. Instead, it breathes through its cenotes, natural sinkholes like Dos Ojos and Cenote Azul that provide a chillingly clear gateway to the Earth's freshwater veins. To the Maya, these were not merely resources. They were the silent witnesses to their very existence, sacred voids that demanded respect and sacrifice. Just south of the luxury and the noise of the hotel zone lies the Siangkaan Biosphere Reserve, a place where the world still feels like a time capsule. In this UNESCO-protected wilderness, the noise of progress is replaced by the primal breath of the mangroves and the distant roar of the sea. It is a necessary reminder of our own smallness, a place where nature remains the ultimate sentinel. Contrast this with the sprawling, vibrant energy of Playa del Carmen or Cancun. We are often tempted to judge these places by their tourist-filled streets, but if you look closer, the DNA of the past is still pulsing beneath the surface. It is in the smoke of the traditional mole being prepared, the ancestral rhythm of the music, and the theatrical resilience of the people who have seen their home transform from a quiet coast into a global crossroads. We must ask ourselves what we are really seeking when we come to these shores. Are we looking for an escape, or are we looking for a connection? Mexico did not just give the world its crops and its colors. It gave us a blueprint for how to endure at the edge of the world. As the sun begins to dip below the horizon, casting long, dramatic shadows over the ruins, we realize that we are merely guests in a story that began long before us and will continue long after we are gone. The coast is not just a destination. It is a boundary between what we know and the vast, ancient mysteries that still wait for us in the deep. To truly understand the resilience of this nation, one must venture into the colonial heartlands, where the stones of Europe were grafted onto the spirit of the New World, creating a paradox of beauty born from collision. Walking through the cobblestone streets of San Miguel de Allende, I feel as though I am moving through a time capsule that has defied logic by remaining so pristinely preserved. The towering pink spires of the Parroquia de San Miguel Arcángel rise like a dream above the central plaza, or El Jardín. This church is a silent witness to the town's transformation from a humble settlement into a sanctuary for artists and seekers. It is a place where the air itself feels heavy with history, and every colorful facade tells a story of a people who refuse to let their heritage be eroded by time. But perhaps the most striking example of human ingenuity is found in the underground arteries of Guanajuato. This city breathes through a subterranean network of tunnels that defy gravity and expectation. Originally carved to divert the fury of river floods, these stone passages now serve as roads, creating a world that exists in the shadows beneath the vibrant hillside houses. Looking down from the El Pipila monument, you see a kaleidoscope of colors that masks the grit and toil of the silver miners who once built this empire. It is a city that lives on multiple levels, a literal representation of the layers of history that make up the Mexican identity. Our final descent brings us back to the epicenter, Mexico City. In the vast expanse of the Zócalo, the layers of time are no longer a metaphor. They are a physical reality. Here, the Metropolitan Cathedral stands adjacent to the excavated ruins of the Templo Mayor, a profound visual of one world built upon the bones of another. Whether you are witnessing the spiritual devotion at the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe or floating through the ancient canals of Xochimilco, you are participating in a story that has been thousands of years in the making. Mexico is not a destination you simply visit. It is a lesson you must absorb. It is a testament to the fact that while empires may crumble and news cycles may distort, roots of a culture remain anchored in the earth. This land has taught me that we are all small before the eternity of nature, yet our capacity for resilience is infinite. If you seek to see the world beyond the headlines, to find the beauty in the misunderstood and the grand in the ancient, then I invite you to join our community. Subscribe to the channel and walk with us as we continue to seek out the untouched wilderness and the silent witnesses of our shared human history. Until our next journey to the edge of the world, keep seeking the truth.